Alright, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode of the Yes Mod here on TEW 2020. We have just completed our Payback pay-per-view, and we're now on the build to Money in the Bank. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this build is going to be pretty weird. I got a lot of people that are not over, and I got a lot of people that are not active, and really this save is this is going to be kind of the last, what I hope, this is going to be kind of the last build where it's all kind of wonky and maybe a little samey, but I got some things planned for Money in the Bank that I think you guys are really gonna like. I got some things planned for immediately after Money in the Bank, which I also think you guys are gonna enjoy. And then of course, I got a lot of things on the SummerSlam card that are gonna be pretty nice. But we have to get through the Money in the Bank build to get to that good stuff. So yeah, another thing is I wasn't able to write out Raw or Smackdown for this build. It's a 3-week build, and again, the roster is so paper thin that it's kind of hard to write out. I'm able to write out NXT, so NXT is going to be more kind of like in depth with the storytelling. Raw and SmackDown, I don't know how well SmackDown's going to do. I actually really enjoyed this episode of Raw. I think this is a good episode of Raw. But yeah, of course, we have our 3 Money in the Bank qualifiers. The first 3 of 6 are being held tonight, and then we have the blow-off, finally, to this fucking 3MB Miz Alex Riley R-Truth feud, the match to settle the score once and for all. Who's gonna stand out on top? I didn't pick a region, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, where was the... So we've held a show in, like, each region. I guess just pick a random one that wasn't June. Let's go with this one. Alright. Let's get into Raw. So okay, I guess not. Okay. So we open Raw with Randy Orton and Mark Henry. If you remember, Randy Orton didn't really cost Mark Henry the WWE Championship. He more so prevented Mark Henry from cheating to win the WWE Championship. But of course, that's going to piss Henry off. And the two are opening the show with a promo battle, and they look like they're about to murder each other and ruin the show, ruin the ring and ringside, and that's not how you want to start the show. So of course, our general manager Triple H is like, whoa, no, we are not doing that. And instead, how about you two stay apart for 1 week, and next week we have the final rubber match, the blow-off, main event of Raw, Randy Orton versus Mark Henry, and the winner will get a spot in the Money in the Bank match. And as much as these two want to tear each other apart, they also need to look towards their future, so the two agree to stay apart for one final week before absolutely ripping each other's heads off next week. In a Money in the Bank qualifier match. So, cool. Let's pre-book that. So we got Mark Henry and Randy Orton. Boom. Oh. Whoops. Hold up. There we go. Oh, no, still not right. So close. So close. There we go. Alright. And then, following that match, we have our first Money in the Bank qualifier. Fandango defeats Mason Ryan. I'm sure everybody could have seen that one coming. Yeah, fresh off of a victory feud over Tons of Funk, Fandango is the first man to qualify for the Raw Money in the Bank match. And then, following that match, we get another kind of like show opening angle. This one sets up our main event. The Shield straight up come out and they call out the Raw champions. They make a challenge to John Cena and Kofi Kingston, where they want a tag team match, and if whoever wins gets a WWE Championship match. So it'd be Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus John Cena and Kofi Kingston, and whoever gets the pin, like Seth Rollins, if Seth Rollins pins Kofi, he gets a WWE Championship match. If Roman pins Kofi or Cena, he gets the WWE Championship match. And Cena and Kofi actually come out and respond to humor this idea, and they're like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. If the tag team match is a title match. And the Shield think about it for a second, and they say, yeah, you got it. We'll put our tag team titles on the line if you hold up your end of the bargain. And kind of taken aback by this, John Cena, he's like, yeah, sure, yeah. John Cena and Kofi not really expecting that to work. However, they have a tag team title match in the main event tonight now. 72, not as good as I was hoping. We have a 3MB, usual pregame air guitar prep. But during the whole thing, Drew is kind of like, just like, come on guys, let's do this, and then let's get some actual training in. And then Jinder's like, what you talking about, Drew? This is training. We're training to rock the house. And yeah, that's 3MB. Our second Money in the Bank qualifier match, Brodus Clay versus Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode gets the victory. Brodus Clay takes the pin. 46 rated segment. Bobby Roode's the second man to qualify for the Money in the Bank, Raw Money in the Bank match, I should say. We then have a quick promo by Ryback where he's just kind of like, he saw what happened with the Shield and Kofi and Cena, and Ryback's like, I got my title match, Kofi, don't forget. I got my title match. Don't overlook me, Kingston. I really don't like being pushed off to the side. And then we have the 73 rated angle where I think it was either Payback or the Smackdown Go Home show where Kaitlyn challenged whoever's the Divas champion to meet her on Raw. And so it's AJ Lee. AJ Lee comes out. This is the meeting between Kaitlyn and the champion. And basically what goes on is Kaitlyn calls out AJ Lee. She's like, I'm ready for my rematch. I wanted to take a little bit of time to rebound my momentum before issuing my challenge to the champion. And I say, on SmackDown, we do it. We do the Divas title match. And AJ Lee accepts the challenge, because she's a babyface now. And then just as kind of a little gag, Kaitlyn says, it didn't matter if you accepted it or not. This is my rematch clause. I just wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt in, seeing if you're actually a worthy fighter. And you don't get a choice, really, but thanks for accepting. That's our next match pre-booked for SmackDown. We have Kaitlyn versus AJ Lee for the Divas Championship. Boom. Alright, cool. 73, pretty good. Next segment is the blow-off match where it goes not too long, 7 minutes and 30 seconds. This was really Drew McIntyre. The story of this match is that Drew McIntyre was really just kind of saving it for 3MB. Like, Heath and Jinder were getting their fucking asses handed to them. And every now and then Drew McIntyre would come in. He'd go 2 straight minutes of just kind of like, not like, I guess... Basically, Drew was the biggest babyface in this match, because every time he'd tag in, he would hot tag, he would rile himself up, he'd get the fans going wild for him, and then he'd try to hot tag to his partner out, and then immediately they get shafted. Eventually, it gets to a point where Drew McIntyre tags in Heath. Heath immediately gets hit with a skull-crushing finale. Jinder's out on the floor outside, and Drew doesn't even bother breaking up the pin, because he's like, you know what, fuck this. And 58 rated segment. Following the match, Drew McIntyre, or The Miz, R-Truth, and Alex Riley, they all celebrate. And then when they're gone, Drew McIntyre leaves, not with them, but right after them. He doesn't officially turn on 3MB, but he does leave. He leaves them in the ring, hurting. And if you can't tell, we are going to break Drew McIntyre off of 3MB and actually build him up, because Drew McIntyre is, believe it or not, really awesome. And he was awesome his entire run in WWE, and it's really stupid, this stable. I never liked 3MB. I never understood why Drew McIntyre needed to be in here. It was like a waste of everyone's time. So yeah, there we go. Next segment is an interview with Renee Young, and she's interviewing John Cena, and she's like, so, going into this episode of Raw, I'm sure you two were not expecting to be challenging for the tag team titles in the main event tonight, but now that you are, what do you think your chances are of winning the tag team titles? And John Cena spends the promo really hyping up Kofi Kingston, building him up. He's like, even though this isn't what I was expecting, and I sure as hell was not anticipating to possibly have a world title match next week as well, I've always kind of wanted to team with someone like Kofi Kingston. Kofi is one of the hardest working men on the roster. He busts his ass every week. He's a deserving U.S. champion. I was one of the first U.S. champions. I really helped bring prestige to that belt, and Kofi is doing the exact same thing, bringing prestige to this belt. So you know what? It'd be an honor to tag with Kofi Kingston. It'd be an honor to win the tag team titles with Kingston, have a giant two-man power trip-esque run with all of these titles on Monday Night Raw. And since Team Hell No's split up through the brand split, I say we're here to fill that spot in the tag team division. So really just kind of an angle to promote Kofi Kingston, pretty much, as a top guy. And getting the word of John Cena will really help him build prestige amongst some of the fans out there. Next segment, we have our final Money in the Bank qualifier match, Shelton Benjamin versus Zack Ryder, and to everybody's surprise, the greatest wrestler in the world, my legitimate, no gimmick, my favorite wrestler of all time, Shelton Benjamin, did not win. Zack Ryder won, and yes, the original plan was for Shelton Benjamin to be in the Money in the Bank match, because Shelton Benjamin is awesome in Money in the Bank matches. However, Zack Ryder needs to keep some momentum going. We should really be building Zack Ryder. This should have been his year in real life. So we're going to try to give him something. And having him lose a Money in the Bank qualifier ain't going to do that. Because Shelton Benjamin's going to get over in any save I do, no matter how hard. What? You know what I mean. I love my boy Shelton. 54. So now we are announcing next week's Money in the Bank qualifier matches. We already have Mark Henry versus Randy Orton. Next is R-Truth versus... God damn it. Next is R-Truth versus Antonio Cesaro. Alright, pretty cool. And the final one is Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. So, pretty good stuff. Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. Oh my god, there we go. Jesus. Why was that so hard? 64. Why was that so hard to do? Alright. And right before we can get to our main event, Daniel Bryan comes out and he cuts a huge babyface promo. Of course, Daniel Bryan's massively over at this point in time. That's why it's called the Yes Mod, because this is the rise of Daniel Bryan to WrestleMania 30. And he cuts this huge babyface promo and he's like, you know what? Kane's on SmackDown. I'm a solo guy once again. And I'm watching the show, and Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins might get a WWE Championship match next week. So you know what? Why can't I? Why not me? Why not Daniel Bryan? Why can't Daniel Bryan be the WWE Champion? Why can't Daniel Bryan challenge John Cena at a Monday Night Raw, at a pay-per-view, at any day of the year for the WWE Championship and win it? Why can't I do it? And Daniel Bryan just cuts basically this huge, like, Derrick Rose MVP, why can't I be the MVP style promo, and to the point where the fans are going ape shit. They're doing the fucking yes chant. He's starting to embrace the yes chant, and Triple H comes out and he's like, all right, Daniel, we'll settle this. We'll discuss it next week. Boom. There you go. Intrigue for next week for all the Daniel Bryan fans. And it's time for our main event, tag team title match. John Cena and Kofi Kingston versus The Shield. And The Shield have the numbers game, but they don't have John Cena. And right when Dean Ambrose looks like he's about to cheat and help The Shield win, Cena thwarts it. Cena hits the attitude adjustment on Seth Rollins. and he's about to go for the pin when Ryback runs out, takes out Kofi from ringside. Roman gets blind tagged in. Cena turns around, hits the spear, gets hit by the spear, and the Shield retain the Unified Tag Team Championships, beating John Cena and Kofi Kingston, and meaning Roman Reigns will get a WWE Championship match next week on Monday Night Raw. Doing this match real early, well before Roman's a star, and I had to hit protect and keep strong on John Cena, not because he wouldn't do the job, but because I didn't want him to lose too much popularity. But yeah, John Cena will now have to defend his WWE Championship. The long con, they got Ryback. Ryback really saved the Shield here. Probably not intentionally, just out of spite to Kofi Kingston. So there you go. We end the show with the Shield standing tall over the Raw champions, and we end the show. I don't think this is going to be that good of a show. Yeah, none of our promos were 85 or above, which is not usual. Usually Cena gives us some good fucking promos, but not this week. Daniel Bryan had the best promo on the show, that's good, but again, not what you're hoping for. We're hoping to hit 80s with each of our shows, so yeah. So that was Monday Night Raw. Let's get into the next edition of NXT. Alright, it's time for NXT. This is the post Super Tuesday edition. Our first Super Tuesday was the last episode of NXT. I guess it was 2 episodes ago, actually. So yeah, we have the beginning of our inaugural NXT Women's Championship Tournament. The first 2 round 1 matches, Ashley Miller versus Charlotte Flair and Emma versus Sasha Banks. Now that I did create. Alright, I wasn't sure if I created the NXT Women's title, but there it is. And then in our main event, we have Tonga Loa and Cassius Ohno versus Sami Zayn and Tyson Kidd. Cassius and Sami Zayn, of course, in a blood feud right now, and Tonga Loa currently the number 1 contender for Tyson Kidd's championship, so big old tag team main event match. Yeah, we're running out of Full Sail again, and let's get into the show. So we open NXT with Tonga Loa, and he's got a hijacked camera. I forgot that I wrote a little bit, so I need to pull it up on my phone. So just give me one real quick second as it refreshes and I click the wrong fucking page and waste even more time. And I have to spin my phone so it'll display all of it. Okay, so so basically all he says is, Tyson Kidd, don't take me lightly. Tonight I'm gonna show everybody just what my family's made of. You got your family, you got the Hart Dynasty, I got the Samoan Legacy. The Samoan Legacy is here to kick Bret Hart's ass, or whatever. 31. I didn't write that out. I just couldn't remember what. I in my spreadsheet I write little excerpts. If I don't do a full write on promos, I'll do little excerpts, and I try to add to the excerpts, and I threw myself off so much that I fucking forgot what the excerpt meant. So first match in the women's tournament, we have Charlotte Flair beating Ashley Miller. I'm sure everybody would have guessed that. 38 for that, pretty good. After the match, Charlotte Flair cuts a promo, and she basically just says, I don't care who steps in my way, no one is beating me in this tournament. 51, we have a quick Diamante intro promo. For these people that I either haven't used a lot or haven't used yet, we're going to do little quote-unquote intro vignettes, where it's just like, kayfabe explaining who these people are to the, crowd or the audience watching. So yeah, Diamante's intro promo, and she will be facing Bayley round 1 next week. So, yeah. Pre-book. Oh no, she will be facing Paige. My bad. Sorry. Someone else will be facing Bayley. Diamante Page. There we go. What did I... Oh, yeah, whatever. Oh, I haven't used her at all. So, Badass Latina is her gimmick, I guess. Got a rating of great, but losses her momentum more. Large penalty to charisma during matches and angles. Large penalty to star quality during matches and angles. Will be Alright, that last one's fine. Those other three, that's not what I call a great gimmick. What the fuck? We have a promo by The Underground, and they basically just say, British Ambition, you know what we want. They want tag team. They want the tag team titles because their match got thrown out because one of them got injured. And we'll meet you next week to talk the terms. Whatever that means, that's happening next week. Our second round 1 match, Emma versus Sasha Banks, got a 42. Pretty good match there. Sasha Banks actually had a better performance, which is not what I was expecting. Fucking great, though. Went 11 minutes and 14 seconds, where Emma won with the Emma lock and 42. So, pretty good. Charlotte, no, fuck, I had it right and then I corrected myself to make myself wrong. Emma, has a rebuttal promo for Charlotte where she's like, oh, you don't care who gets in your way, Charlotte? Well, cause it's me versus you in round 2 now, and, I still got unfinished business with you. So, if you don't care who gets in your way, you're sure gonna care when I whoop your ass in round 2. We then have a promo by Baron Corbin and Mojo Rawley. They say, if the Underground think that they can just storm in here and get their title match, then they got another thing coming. Whatever that means. Then we have a intro promo by Serena, who's actually pretty over in the mod, in terms of NXT. Her straight edge gimmick got adequate. She can't lose to comedy gimmicks, cartoonish and gimmicky gimmicks. Can't be used in lengthy angles. And again, comedy bouts. Do not care about comedy bouts. So she will be taking on Bayley. It will be Serena versus Bayley. Alright. Cool. And then, before our main event, we have a interview by, a Corey Graves interview where, Maxine just asks, like, how you gonna recover from losing at Super Tuesday? And Corey Graves begins to, cut a promo, and then Tyler Breeze interrupts, and he's like, oh, smells like loser in here. Oh, just being a complete dick, and, Maxine's kind of giggling at everything he says, and, every time Corey just tries to start talking, Tyler Breeze will just interrupt, oh, that's a good picture right there, as he's with his selfie camera. And eventually Corey Graves just whatever, and walks off. 36 for that. And main event of the show, 62 rated match. Tongalo was the weak link, but of course all these guys are so much more over. An exceptional match. Tongaloa and Cassius Ohno get the upset. However, it's because Tongaloa used a steel pipe right across Tyson Kidd's shoulder. Then he hit his finisher, pinned Tyson Kidd. Of course, the ref was distracted while he was using the foreign object. Tongaloa gets the pinfall on the champion. He is the number 1 contender. He will presumably be facing Tyson Kidd. I don't remember if it's going to be Super Tuesday or sometime before then, but he's next in line for that championship, and he pinned the champion. And then after the match, the blood feud continues as Sami Zayn and Cassius Ohno continue to brawl as our security detail has to pull them apart. Our security detail, of course, consisting of Billy Kidman, Ron Simmons, our refs, Derek Moore, Sean Bennett, and then Scott Dawson because he had nothing else to do. So Regal pulls them apart and forces Ohno backstage and forces Zayn out through the crowd. And that is how we end this episode of NXT. The main event angles really saved us. We're being carried by Tyson, Sammy, and Cassius right now. Fucking 61 rated show. That's amazing. Yeah, kind of a slow start, but really picked up during the end there. So that was fun, and now it is time for Smackdown. Alright, what an episode of NXT that was. It's time for Smackdown. Real quick, to to pull back behind the curtains, I did a lot of pre-recording in the build to Payback. I think I recorded all those episodes on one day, or like in a couple consecutive days, and as I was recording it, I legitimately forgot that in-game I booked Smackdown before NXT, and I was like really fucking confused when Smackdown came up. I'm like, what the fuck how did I skip NXT? I was like, I played myself. It was really funny. So here we are, it's Smackdown time. We have Caitlyn and AJ Lee, Divas Championship. We have Great Khali and the Usos versus the Triad making their debut. The Triad, of course, being the stable of The Consequence, Xavier Woods, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, and Too Cold Scorpio Sky. I don't have a nickname for Scorpio yet, but we're going to find one. And then our Money in the Bank qualifiers are David Otunga versus the new Intercontinental Champion, Evan Bourne. No joke. Also, complete shoot. If you're new to the channel, Evan Bourne, my third favorite wrestler of all time. It goes, my top three, it goes Bourne at 3, Mayu Iwatani at 2, and then Shelton Benjamin at number 1. I have a very weird list. Carlito's in the top 10 somewhere. Then we have Sin Cara versus Jack Swagger, and then we have Alberto Del Rio versus Kane in his debut as a SmackDown exclusive superstar. So, if you guys are just jumping into the series, we did a full draft, and since Kane and Daniel Bryan were the unified tag team champions, they were undrafted, they were deemed unbranded, and once they lost the tag titles, they both had to sign with a brand. Daniel Bryan choosing Raw, Kane choosing SmackDown. It's time to get to the show. I don't really have anything else to... Come on. I don't really have anything else to say. And here we go. We're going to open the show with Shawn Michaels. If you remember on Payback, he said there was a match between Chris Jericho and Alberto Del Rio. He said that the loser of that match would be in a Money in the Bank qualifier tonight against Kane, since he likes both, though he respects both those superstars. He feels like they both deserve a chance. But the winner would get an even bigger reward, and that reward is that Chris Jericho, who won the match, is now named the number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Wade Barrett protests this for some reason, even though on the Payback show he lost, and he lost his championship. He is like, that's stupid. It makes perfect sense to me, but Wade Barrett thinks it's stupid. And he just keeps nagging Shawn Michaels to the point where it's like, you know what, Barrett? Fine. You think it's such a bad idea? Here's an idea I know you'll think is great. Next week, World Heavyweight Championship, you versus Dolph Ziggler. If you're so good, Barrett, prove it to me. And Wade Barrett, he pretends to be taken aback like this wasn't his plan, but this was completely his plan. His plan was to annoy Shawn Michaels to the point where he just angrily gave him a World Championship match. So that is our main event for next week's SmackDown. Champion always comes out second, 64. Come on. So World Heavyweight Championship. Boom. Next segment, it is the first Money in the Bank qualifier, and just as a kind of a slight to Wade Barrett, they just finished their feud. Evan Bourne's like, you know, Wade Barrett was really a dick, and he would never defend this title unless absolutely forced to. So you know what? The first thing I'm going to do, I have a match against David Otunga. It's a Money in the Bank qualifier match. Well, not only will the winner of this match get a spot in the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match, they will also walk out with the Intercontinental Championship. That's right, David. I'm putting my title up against the line. I'm putting my title on the line against you, because he wants to be a fighting champion. He was pissed at the way that Wade Barrett was ruining in his eyes the prestige of the IC belt, and Evan Bourne wins. He makes his first defense of the title, but a very surprising showing by David Otunga. If you know, he was one of the people that was on the draft show. He was actually picked, and pull back the curtains just a little bit. Everybody, including the Colognes, that was featured on that draft, I'm gonna try to build up. And David Otunga is somebody that I'm gonna try and build up, just because I want to. Just because I want to, just because I can, just to spite some of you. All right, 52 for that, pretty good. I really only did this because I want I'm trying to get more defenses on my championships because once I wrapped up the Dave series, I kind of realized, hey, Pablo held. If you don't watch Dave, you won't know what I'm talking about, but you don't really need to know. But basically, Pablo held the world title for like 6 months and had 4 defenses. I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to get these belts defenses before people lose them. But I also don't want extremely long reigns for that to happen. So, yeah, 52 for that match. And after that, Big Show comes out, and he's still kind of amped up after Payback, after making his return from injury, after Lesnar injured him, and he thwarted Lesnar off of Rob Van Dam. Big Show's like, where are you, Brock? Where are you, Brock? I'm ready to go. I'm rearing to go, Brock. Let's do this. And only Paul Heyman comes out, and Paul Heyman basically lets Big Show know, oh, Big Show, you fucked up big time. You shouldn't have done that. You should have stayed at home with your shitty little knees, staying injured. But no, you had to come back, and you had to immediately go after Brock Lesnar. Well, come Money in the Bank show, you're going to wish you could run back, but you're not going to be able to because Brock's getting his match against you. You're going to get your rematch against Brock, but this time it's going to be in a steel cage. Boom, second match announced for Money in the Bank. Search. Would it just be cage match, or would it be, I guess, yeah, we don't want no escape. Yeah, no escape. This is a cage classic. You have to win by pinfall or submission. Not Biggie Langston. So, yeah, oh my god, a lot of setup time, though. Alright, Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. Good shit, 76 for Paul and Big Show. Quick little promo by the Usos here. Just kind of like hyping up the match, like, the Triad are not going to take over the tag division if we have anything to say about it. Literally just a time filler promo. We then have the Divas Championship match. It goes to a draw because midway through the match, the Bella, what the fuck? It took it off. Great. The Bella Twins ran in and caused a double disqualification. And following the match, the Bella Twins are like, all right, that's enough of this. No more AJ, no more Caitlyn, no more Mickie James. It's Bella Twins time. We're not going to be overlooked any longer. On Monday Night Raw, there's going to be a tag team match. Bella Twins versus AJ Lee and Caitlyn. And we're going to show the world that we deserve to be back in the title picture. So that is our fifth match. That is our fifth match announced for Monday. So Bella Twins versus AJ Lee and Caitlyn. Good shit, good shit. Next segment. So he just gave David Otunga a title match, and he finds Ezekiel Jackson backstage. And if you remember, Jackson was given a pretty convincing offer by Wade Barrett. If Jackson would have helped Barrett win, Barrett would have given him an IC title match and some financial compensation. Yet Ezekiel Jackson did not go for it. Whether he's just too noble of a guy to go for it, or if he doesn't trust Wade Barrett, he didn't do it, and Bourne really appreciates that, and he says, you know what, Jackson, you know I appreciate you. I'm really thankful you did that for me. So for you, 2 weeks' time, I just gave David Otunga a title match. You deserve a title match as well. In 2 weeks, Intercontinental Championship match, me versus you. And Jackson, fuck it, because he wants to be a fighting champion. Jackson's not going to say no to that. Free title match. Bourne's a trustworthy guy. He's not going to get cheated out of the match. So, yeah, 2 weeks' time because I filled up the next week's show already. All right, 42. And then we have an 85 rated angle. Wade Barrett's a promo god, guys. Wade Barrett is a promo god. We basically have a backstage interaction between Sheamus and Wade Barrett, where Sheamus is just absolutely disgusted with the way Wade Barrett got this world title match, and Barrett's just like, okay, what are you going to do about it? It's already set in play, man. I've already got the title match, and Sheamus is not happy about it. The six-man tag match, I'm sure everybody expected the Triad was going to win. Xavier Woods pinned the Great Khali with the Lost in the Woods. Triad win their debut match, and Christopher Daniels gets a very good rating. I had Woods get the pin just because, get him some momentum, get him a little bit of pop. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, I know this is well past, but in the opening promo, Shawn Michaels notes that Chris Jericho is, he's not here tonight. He's taking the week off after his big victory to rest up. So Chris Jericho will not be on the show to respond to the whole fucking Wade Barrett thing. So yeah, next segment. 90 rated angle by fucking Dolph Ziggler. Holy shit. Dolph Ziggler cuts a promo backstage. Huge babyface promo. Basically just says, it doesn't matter who you throw in front of me, whether it's Wade Barrett, whether it's Chris Jericho, whether it's anybody in the back, I will still stand victorious as your World Heavyweight Champion. So Wade Barrett, I don't care how you got the title match, you've got it now, and you've got an ass whooping coming to you. Boom, 90. 66, we have Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes meeting Shawn Michaels in his office, and Sandow is like, okay, I don't really want to wait for the pay-per-view. Shawn, you think you could do a guy a favor and get, I don't know, maybe push the tag team title match to next week? And Shawn's like, you know what? Fuck. Why not? Why not? Fine. You can have your tag team title match next week. You versus The Shield. Unified tag team titles. Alright. 2 versus 2. Shield, Rollins, and Reigns versus Team Rhodes Scholar. So big week for Roman. On Monday, he's fighting for the for the WWE Championship, and then the next night, or I guess Friday, in WWE language, he is going to be defending his tag team title match, and that's exactly why Sandow wanted it to be pushed, because he's like, Roman's gonna get a world title match. That means he's gonna be weak. So yeah, 66 for that. We then have a Alberto Del Rio promo, where again, another time filler promo, kind of just like, I don't care if Shawn Michaels gets mad, but his newest big signing, Kane's going down tonight. So 53 for that. We have our next Money in the Bank qualifier match. Match goes 10 minutes, 11 seconds. Jack Swagger beats Sin Cara. But once again, just like with David Otunga, Sin Cara really outperforms what everybody was expecting. Really, I wouldn't say overperforms. He just does a lot better than what a lot of people are expecting from guys on the low on the card like Sin Cara and David Otunga. Maybe they turned a couple heads with their performances tonight. So yeah, next segment we get the next matches. The next Money in the Bank match is announced. The first one is Rob Van Dam versus Scorpio Sky. That's the first Money in the Bank qualifier. MITB qualifier, space, boom, auto name, boom. Alright. And our second Money in the Bank qualifier is going to be Ted DiBiase Jr. versus, I thought I hit that, versus Christopher Daniels. So, that's not Chris Daniels. There he is. Versus Ted Jr. Alright. And then the final one, Shawn Michaels has to make an appearance to do just a little bit of explaining. He announces the Money in the Bank redemption match. Basically, like I was just saying, Shawn Michaels, David Otunga, and Sin Cara did turn some heads with their performances, and most importantly, they turned the head of the general manager, Shawn Michaels. He says that because of how surprisingly well they did and how impressive their performances were, he wants to give them one more chance to make it in the Money in the Bank qualifier. He says, I already know that Alberto Del Rio and Kane are going to impress me with their match up next. And so next week, our final Money in the Bank qualifier match will be a 3-way. It will be the Money in the Bank redemption match, where the 3 losers tonight will face off in a 3-way to open Smackdown next week, and the winner will get, I was going to say the final spot, but if it's opening the show, then it won't be the final spot, but they'll get the 4th spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then number 5 and 6 will go to either Rob Van Dam or Scorpio Sky, and Christopher Daniels or Ted Jr. All right, 70 for the Money in the Bank redemption. And in the main event, Alberto Del Rio did not deliver on his promise of taking down Kane, as Kane wins his Smackdown exclusive debut, chokeslam from hell, 1849, 71 rated segment. And then to end the show, we get just kind of a generic face-off between the three men that have already qualified for the Money in the Bank match. So yeah, that's right. Since Alberto lost, we can pre-book the Money in the Bank redemption match. So it is, let me go by, yeah. There we go. Boom. Money in the Bank. Alright, boom. 3-way pre-book. Alright, yeah, so that is SmackDown. 78, it actually did better than Raw. Both shows disappointed this week. But it did do better than Raw. I was really hoping for a little more because we got some good angles, but I guess that main event was just quite a little too underwhelming for the game. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Yes Mod. The booking for these two shows, I already pre-booked NXT, so I know it's going to be good, at least in my opinion. But I'm really happy with the way that these Raw and SmackDowns turned out, because for all the previous episodes of the Yes Mod, everything has been pre-booked out in my spreadsheet already. But without being able to visualize and book it during the show, I couldn't get anything out properly. So I was like, you know what? We're going to do something. We're going to experiment. I'm going to freestyle book these 2 episodes, and they actually turned out really well. So I think I'm going to freestyle pre-book the rest of the build to Money in the Bank before going back because, again, paper-thin roster, nobody over. I've said it a million times. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all will come back for episode number 10 of the Yes Mod.